Hi, my name is Drew Bosher. I'm a financial analyst. I'm here to share some valuable information with you for anyone who's accumulated wealth they'd like to keep or anyone who hopes to keep wealth they'd like to accumulate. And the presentation is why silver? And silver really is silver bullet protection against government overspending. There'll be three parts to this presentation. We're going to begin with a little bit of monetary history and currency history. I'm going to go way back and identify a few key dates. I'm going to talk about where are we now and where are we going. I'm going to make a case, end with a case for silver. So what is money? And I want to thank a good friend, James Turk, who provided some of the information on the next several slides. Money is an idea, a communication tool. It communicates economic value in an exchange. Money communicates a measurement of wealth. When there's a unit of account is unchanging, money that it's based upon is sound. For example, a gram of gold is an unchanging unit of account, similar to an inch or a meter with length. Currency, by contrast, is the physical representation of money. It's the item that changes hands in a transaction. It can be money when it takes the form of gold or silver coins. However, when it takes the form of paper notes, currency is not money, but rather a money substitute. I want to run through a little bit of currency history here, and the critical date to remember is 1694. 1694 is really the year that defined the modern era from the era that preceded it. And prior to 1694, we have what's known as a tangible money period. And the tangible money period is a period dating to prehistory of the barter economies where we have crops and livestock and beads, and often they migrated to silver and gold, but it's a tangible money period where money and currency is an asset that can be physically held in one's hand. By contrast, in 1694, the money of the day in England was silver. And the Bank of England had an innovation that they would let citizens turn in their silver. In exchange, they gave them paper notes. So the transformation is from a tangible money period to a money substitute period. So money, rather than being a tangible asset in the hands of the person who holds it, becomes the liability of a bank. And when do we have the first banking crisis? Within 3 years, in 1697. And what occurred? The Bank of England issued more notes than it had silver and gold to back it up in its vaults. People decided they'd prefer to exchange their notes, and we have one of our first bank runs and currency crises. The Bank of England decides to bring in their mathematical mind of the day, Sir Isaac Newton, and he is appointed Master of the Mint. And Mr. Newton decides to, his solution is to look at the amount of notes that are outstanding and compare it with the amount of silver and gold in the vaults. And what he does is he comes up with a formula to discount the notes. And thereafter, money is defined as a percentage. It's redeemable for a percentage of gold in this case, and they settled on gold as the standard. So from 1700 to 1914, we have a sound money period. We have a period that's known as the classical gold standard or the Newtonian gold standard. It's a very self-correcting mechanism where if one country buys too much from another, that country would get the gold, slow down the economy of the other one, and back and forth. So it's a self-correcting mechanism, and it's not to say that there weren't currency crises in this period, but they were currency crises around a mean of a stable, sound money. After 1914, we have a period that I'd characterize as a guns and butter era. And by that I mean guns, military spending, and butter, social spending. There was lots of social spending around 1940, prior to it, in fact, in Europe. And of course, we have World War I military spending. Next big date on our timeline here is 1933. 1933, we have FDR takes office. Actually, Professor Schiller of the Case-Shiller Index highlighted to me. I was very aware that FDR closes our banks and decides to reopen the good ones and close the bad. But prior to his first fireside chat, FDR issues an edict for an anti-hoarding edict for the confiscation of gold. It becomes illegal in the U.S. to hold gold beginning in 1933.